could it all be? We've never been seen, but never awake from the sky. Touring the world and supporting a record is a scenario that's very conducive for creativity because you're putting yourself in a really stressful scenario, especially relationship-wise. You're putting yourself under you're constantly together with your bandmates. You're in very difficult scenarios for maintaining relationships at home and keep kind of maintaining an anchor of where you come from and what's real at the same time. So it's really a head trip to be touring for years and years with the same band.
It's very unnaturally extreme in both ways.
Exactly.
You're apart from people for a really long time, and you're right around people in a really intense, small quarter for a really long time. So there's no middle ground where, like, I'll see you a couple times a week. It's like I'm either with you all the time or we are apart for months. Eternities.
And so that definitely is usually a catalyst for the beginnings of our records being, as far as inspiration and stuff like that. And so I don't think we ever really go into it with an agenda. We just start writing and start putting things together, and eventually we kind of look at the body of work, and it almost seems very clear of where our heads were at while we were writing it. But it's not until we take a break and sit back and actually listen to what we've got here that starts to make sense for us, because we always want it to be real and natural. So
we've never been a band where a label has heard songs and been like, well, that's, maybe you should go more in this direction. We don't even let people in the studio. We don't let, we're that's kind of part of the Dillinger Escape Plan thing. And when you agree to work with us, that you know that we are, we're very creatively protective, and almost to the point where we don't even want to hear outside ideas because it corrupts. I mean, that's what we have. Like, we're not a massive mainstream band, so we have to protect what the thing is that we have. And we've maintained a lot of artistic purities. We came off of a very traditional worldwide record contract before. We were with Relapse for the entire world, and when we broke, out of that contract, and when our contract was fulfilled, we kind of were just like, let's go on a one-by-one basis. Let's form kind of like an umbrella entity, which is Party Smasher, and then let's license that out, per territory, and see what the best thing for everywhere is. So on this last record, we ended up going with a label called Sumerian Records in North America, and then we have BMG in Europe. We have a thing called Remote Control in Australia, and it just ended up, it's on a one-by-one basis.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the reverse of being in a worldwide traditional contract. Just gives us a little bit more freedom on the business end, but we've always maintained creative.
Our biggest first week of sales, and not that we care about sales or numbers or we're trying to talk about business, but the fact that I think over 70% of our sales were physical means that our fans still want the product. They still want to hold something in their hand. They're still stoked on our band in that kind of way, that they're not just trying it out or checking it out because it's free or they download it. They actually want it as part of the catalog, and that's something we're really proud of, not from a sales point of view, but from a fan point of view. So that was really exciting. Sumerian Records and our partners in the rest of the world have been really great at getting it in front of new people and really making sure they don't neglect our old fans as well. I think When I Lost My Bet is a song that I really was happy how it came out. I was really particularly into how that came out. It's really hard, but at the same time kind of cool that you can't play any one Dillinger song and have it represent the band. And that's what I think it makes it hard in some respects to choose what songs to put out there for people, but it's also something that I think is cool.
It's a very abusive relationship. We're like bringing people in with one hand and punching in the face with the other, and being like, we're gonna hug you and beat you up. And you have to be into both of them, if you're gonna stand close to us. That's a very rare person. It's not healthy.